Charles Hoskinson, pretty much all but came out and admitted defeat for Cardano. And I'm sorry, one sec, I screwed everything up. Hopefully you all don't bail on that first 10 seconds because it was horrible and I'm going to start over. So hopefully I get to edit it out. If you're watching the replay, stick with me because that never happens. But over the last 24 hours, Charles Hoskinson came out and pretty much all but admitted defeat for Cardano as the tokenization storyline continues to unfold. A lot of people are completely missing this shift that's taking place in crypto right now. And to me, every day becomes more and more clear. So right now, Charles Hoskinson came out yesterday and pretty much all but admitted defeat for Cardano. We heard from Arthur Hayes saying that he's now selling off his bag of Hyperliquid and Near. We've got people from Bankless selling off all their Ethereum. I mean, everyone is panicking. Michael Saylor sold Bitcoin yesterday. We saw Bitcoin tap 61,000. But tokenization continues to run forward. The news continues to run forward. So let's hit the like button. Make sure you guys engage in the chat. This is going to be one of the most important streams that I do. The information in this stream, to me, is what's going to separate winners from losers in this next crypto run. Call it a bull run, call it whatever you want. 4-year cycle, I don't care. But I do think that the information in this stream is where the real profits are going to lie for retail holders. My opinion, not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You should always do your own research. But let's listen to a little bit of what Charles had to say yesterday. He has been running for the last 3 months like an angry toddler crypto bro, stomping his foot on X to anyone who will listen about everything that is wrong with blockchain. This explains why he's been so angry, in my opinion.
This is where we're at as an ecosystem. You know, I said at the beginning of the year, we're going to see a lot of people collapse because the markets are really bad and we need some way to bail out our ecosystem and get them the lifeblood that they need to get to the next level. So I came up with a plan of an index. It did not get executed. So we've lost JPEG Store. We have tap tools. I would suspect others are coming very soon. There's going to be a wave of failures in the ecosystem. Now, I could buy some of them as I did NAMI and as I did Blockfrost, and then we can try to take those and commercialize them. When we try to take them and commercialize them, you guys vote against it. Just the way it is. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of community desire to spend the treasury to take these ventures to the next level. We have Draper. You've decided to give them a large quantity of ADA, a lot of money. As I remind you, they're probably going to invest mostly in new things, not old things. And of these old things, many of them are not in an investable state at the moment. So this year's going to be very hard. The second half of the year for Cardano, we're probably going to see more dApps in DeFi die and a consolidation happen. I'm not exactly sure what my role or place is to resolve this.
And he went on later to say that he's taking a break. But the thing is, he's supposed to be the face, the leader, but he has zero control. And he mentioned something specific I want to point out. They mentioned bringing in Draper. Many of you may not recognize that name. They are heavily involved in tons of blockchain infrastructure, including heavily involved on the Canton Network. So basically, Charles is like, okay, we're bringing in the institutional guys. We're trying to change governance, but you all keep voting against it. This is why having random people control the governance of a public blockchain is not optimal and why many institutions are just not going to go that direction. He's talking about trying to commercialize, or in my opinion, institutionalize the blockchain, and they're voting it down. But that's where the money is. So basically, Charles Hoskinson came out and said, our blockchain is failing. Here's why. You guys keep voting against it, and I can't really do anything about it. That is not a good look for Cardano, but it certainly explains why he's been so angry and stomping his foot, because things have not been going the way of his blockchain. And this is why I want to point this out. I said this is going to be probably the most important, and it's honestly nothing to do with price. I'm not pumping a token. I want to understand, or I want to help you understand what I believe is the most misunderstood piece of what's actually happening in crypto moving forward, and how we can actually really, as retail, earn and participate. Because the next crypto cycle, in my opinion, is not going to look anything like the last one. I'm not saying the 4-year cycle is dead. I'm not saying any of that nonsense. You can come up with your own narrative on Bitcoin if you want. I'm not even talking about Bitcoin. My opinion is the old cycle was focused on meme coins. Meme coins ran this year. It's been about gambling, and why retail's been gambling their money away into nothing and then into prediction markets. Again, and we are all retail. I've lost money here in this pullback too, but I've been dollar cost averaging in. So it's been all about meme coins. It's been all about yield farming, unsustainable yields, and mercenary capital. Be honest, you guys didn't really get excited about Canton until I showed you can make 8% return on a yield. This is true. Okay, but we're going to touch base on that. We're going to come back to it. It's not a bad thing. Speculation, pump and dumping, and short-term thinking. This is obvious. The majority of crypto holders, especially majority of retail holders, can't think more than 10 minutes in front of their face. So when we have a pullback like this, a lot of people aren't properly invested, didn't do their proper due diligence into their blockchains, and, price falls and they hop out, take the loss, call crypto a scam without ever fully understanding its real use case. And price charts, volatility first and hope over fundamentals. We've heard that narrative play out countless times across countless narratives. But in my opinion, tokenization, and I've said this for months, is happening, and everything's being tokenized, in my opinion. Just about. If it has a reason to be tokenized, it's going to be tokenized. So tokenized stocks, real equities, and real on-chain ownership. This is going to be important. Tokenized treasuries backed by real-world yield with trust. Stable coins, again, backed with U.S. Treasuries, programmable money, and 24/7 institutional settlement that is compliant with what institutions want. This is the new tokenization cycle that's coming forward. Again, everything's being tokenized now, but over the last 6 months, what people have not said, I guarantee you almost no one's talked about this, the difference between a true tokenized item or a true tokenized stock or treasury or bond. The difference between a true tokenized stock and a synthetic tokenized stock, because this is where things are going to get interesting, okay? Because if you're not playing by the correct rules, and I'm going to touch on those rules in a minute, then you're not going to be participating with the correct tokenization rails. Visa is testing the next generation of settlement, privacy, compliance, and tokenization, partnering with Brale to run a new pilot on Canton Network. This is institutional grade. It's built for banks, fintechs, and enterprises, creates atomic settlement. Again, atomic settlement means either it settles with both parties or it doesn't settle at all. If a change needs to be made, both parties have to agree on the change. This gives global reach and, again, opening up programmable money. Privacy-enabled rails for institutional settlement of stablecoins through Visa. Again, exploring stablecoin-based settlement using SBC on Canton, a proof of concept evaluating how privacy-enabled infrastructure can support institutional payment flows while maintaining control over sensitive transaction data. So now we've already talked about the tokenization rails. Now Visa is implementing stablecoin rails via Brale. This was just announced this morning. And I know everyone's fawning over the DTCC, which is great for Canton. Don't get me wrong. It's also great for Stellar, as we just found out recently. And everyone's fawning over that, and that's great. But again, what creates burn on the Canton network? Transaction volume. And fees, right? The fees can be $1,000. They could be 2 cents. It doesn't matter. But we want to see the burning of CC. And Visa, the amount of volume of transactions that they represent, even if we get a piece of that actually running through the global synchronizer, or if they move the burn to the private synchronizer, if we get a piece of that, which it looks like we're going to, depending on how big that piece is, that amount of volume can rival the DTCC. Truthfully, just the amount of volume. Now, granted, the amount of money behind the volume won't be the same, but still, transactions create fees, fees create burn. To me, the most important project that comes out on Canton is the one that's going to burn the most CC or contribute to the burning of the most CC somehow. That's what I'm always paying attention to. But this was just announced today. And again, tokenization makes assets programmable. And we're going to really focus on tokenization right now and what it means for you, the retail holder. But before we do that, we need to understand the difference in tokenized stocks. So a traditional stock, you get a stock certificate. It's paper-based, slow to settle, limited access. It's not very liquid for a paper stock. Now, again, this is going really, really old school because we do have digital representation now, but it's not the same as tokenization because now we do T1 settlement, not necessarily T2. Blockchain gives T0. But anyway, it is a paper certificate creating ownership. It's fractional ownership, instant settle. Okay. Sorry. Tokenization makes assets programmable. Fractional ownership, own a fraction of any asset, lower barriers. So instead of maybe, if you can't afford, 1 share of Amazon, then you can get a fraction of Amazon. Instant settlement with T+0 settlement. I just touched on that. Programmable assets with built-in logic, automated compliance, and smart contracts. This is where it's going to get important. 24/7 markets and yield generation. This is what most people don't understand, I think, when we're talking about tokenized assets and why the entire asset has to come on chain. Because what institutions do, say you own, I'm just going to use easy numbers. I wish we all could, but say you own $1 million of Tesla stock. Cool. A lot of institutions will go to the bank and they'll take out a loan and create more liquidity against that asset, against that Tesla stock. Many of you are familiar with taking your crypto asset, CC, ETH, Bitcoin, whatever, Solana, name your crypto, and staking it to gain a yield because that's the actual asset. The ETH is the ETH. The CC is the CC. There's no other representation of it anywhere else. So you can trust that that asset is the asset and is liquid. By tokenizing the stocks, now you're going to be able to take your $1 million of Tesla stock and stake it just like you could your CC, or stake it just like you could your Solana. So it just opens up a realm of investing that retail is not used to, but that only works if they bring the entire asset on chain. And what does that look like? Real tokenization creates legal ownership. You own the underlying asset through the legal title. You become eligible for dividends and distributions, voting rights, and governance. Again, if that's included in your stock. Redemption rights, and it is regulated and compliant. Synthetic tokenization. This is where things are going to get tricky, and this is where I think we're going to see a division in crypto that not a lot of people are talking about, okay? Synthetic tokenization creates exposure, derivatives, and no ownership. They're derivatives contracts. You hold a contract that tracks the asset. You actually don't own the asset. Price exposure. You benefit or lose only based on price movements. That synthetic representation does not give you access to the liquidity that you own by owning that stock. You have more counterparty risk because you rely on issuers, oracles, and smart contracts. There's no ownership rights. You don't actually own the underlying asset. You own a smart contract, which is an IOU. We've talked about that, to the actual asset. And you have no voting rights and no governance. So because you don't actually own the real asset, you own a synthetic version of the asset, you do not get all the rights that come with it. And this is where the SEC stepped in. I talked about this not long ago, but no one's paying attention to it, and it's a much bigger deal than people actually realize. The SEC supports tokenization, but not all tokenization. Not all tokenization is created equal. The rules that apply: approved real tokenization, it has to be the real asset-backed securities, actual ownership of the underlying assets, legal rights and redemption, compliant and regulated, and transparency and disclosure. What is not approved is synthetic tokens, only the price exposure or fake representations. They're higher risk to investors, and they are not eligible under the SEC exemption for tokenization. This was announced shortly after they rolled out their tokenization exemption, and almost no one talked about it other than they pulled back, right? The narrative was the SEC is good with tokenization. Now the SEC is not good with tokenization. And we saw Ethereum pull back. We saw other blockchains pull back. And that's because these synthetic assets exist on a lot of these blockchains, and it's not going to work moving forward. So they have to reflip the script somehow on how they're going to move forward with their tokenization. And I'm going to show you those here in a little bit. But synthetic assets have already failed before this announcement from the SEC. We all heard of Terra Luma, of course, M Apple, M Tesla, and Mirror Protocol. All of these failed in 2022. Shortly after, in 2023, is when we first saw the Canton Network come onto the scene, and they have a different form of tokenization. The asset does not just sit there anymore. When you tokenize your stocks or your treasuries or whatever, that's creating liquidity that you can now go use elsewhere, because you can move the ownership and the liquidity of that asset to potentially not only just hold the asset and wait for appreciation as if you would, typically buy a stock, but you take that asset, you buy it, and then you go stake it and earn 2, 3, 4, whatever percent yield someone may be offering if you feel comfortable with it. 24/7 programmable markets. You will own, you can lend, you can borrow, earn yield, and you still retain the exposure of the asset. You never have to sell it, so you never have to worry about realized gains. You take your tokenized asset and what I plan on doing as this becomes more and more available on the Canton Network, because I like the privacy and safety. And again, there are programs and DeFi being built around this right now for retail holders on the Canton Network. But this is actually what they are focusing on. Every asset is becoming software. Physical certificate is manual and slow. Then we had the brokerage account. Then we had digital security. Now we're moving into tokenized assets and programmable assets. It's going to be much, much faster. Everyone loved the brokerage accounts when we first got Robinhood and we first got Webull. I remember that boom in stocks right before or right at the beginning of 2020. Same thing with crypto, is when everyone got access to trading. There was a boom in volume and a lot of people gambled. The investment question: what happens if every single asset becomes programmable? Well, the real question is, who is tokenizing correctly? And I did a little research, and I'm going to pull that up for you to give you guys some examples of who's tokenizing correctly and who's tokenizing incorrectly. Because in a fully tokenized world, we're going to have tokenized stocks, tokenized treasuries, lending pools, digital collateral, stablecoins. All of it is going to play a part in this tokenized world. And then when I was looking at it, the biggest... I don't have it pulled up. I should have had it pulled up and into the slide. But when I was looking at it right now, the biggest, how do I put it? What's the word I'm looking for? The biggest synthetic tokenizer is Optimism on Ethereum. That's why they took such a big dump. Both Optimism and Ethereum took such a big dump when the SEC came out and announced this. Also, it's very prevalent on Solana as well, has a lot of these synthetic tokenized stocks. It doesn't look like Ondo is doing that. It looks like Ondo is tokenizing the full asset as it stands right now, so they are safe. But again, they have poor tokenomics, in my opinion. And we can get into Ondo versus CC at any time. That's fine. But right now, Ethereum and Solana are not tokenizing correctly, at least for the majority of their assets that are being tokenized on chain. They're not going to meet the SEC requirements on what institutions are going to be willing to use for their tokenized assets. So a lot of those lending pools and those synthetic wrappers we're going to see go away over the next few months. And that's why we're seeing, again, some pullbacks in some of the tokenized stocks after this SEC announcement. But really, when we're looking at all of this, before I get into the chat, when we're looking at all this right now, I haven't even looked at Bitcoin this morning. I still think it's going to go lower. We talked about it yesterday. I don't think this pullback is over. Right now, we're sitting at right about 63.6 on Bitcoin, and last I saw, XRP was down to $1.18. Let me see where it's at right now. XRP is sitting at $1.17 right now, and I do not think this pullback is over. I think Bitcoin could see as low as 37,000. I talked about that yesterday. But ironically enough, there's certain tokens that are holding their ground. And that's what we talked about yesterday. Or the day before yesterday, for that matter. Let's hop into the chat. Let's see how everyone's doing today. I feel good about my CC. It's holding very strong right now. Over the last week and a half or so, with what's been going on with Bitcoin, the thesis around tokens that actually generate value back to the token seems to be holding strong. Canton still maintaining its floor. Hyperliquid did have a pullback down to, I think, $67. But again, Arthur Hayes said he sold his entire Hyperliquid bag and his entire near bag. Remember, this is the guy who's been shilling you that Hyperliquid's going to $150 this year. He's been saying that for like the last 6 months. He pumped up the market, got a bunch of people excited, and then he dumped his tokens. I'm telling you guys right now, you'll know if I sell CC before it happens, and I don't have plans on doing that. I told you guys I plan on taking profits as it's going up at some point, but I'm being honest with you about that beforehand. So be careful who you listen to. Mostly Arthur Hayes just dumped on you. Michael Saylor just dumped on you. Like, the biggest maxis of all time are dumping. It seems like it's crazy right now what's happening in this market. Let's hop into the chat though. I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope no one's losing their head in this right now. What's up, everyone? How's the crew doing, says Judah. And Raul was first in the house today. I did go a little bit early today. I tried to announce it a couple times throughout the week that I was going to be going on the stream a little bit early today. It's my daughter's birthday. It's her 14th birthday today. So I'm trying to get done a little bit early so I can spend some time with her, taking her out to dinner. So get this, man. My daughter's 14 today. And she is, over the last 6 months, maybe 8 months, she's grown like 5 inches, lost 2 sizes. She looks like a completely different person. So this year for her birthday, she's going out on a shopping spree because she needs an entire new wardrobe because she's got like 4 outfits that fit. So God help me. The time has come for me to have a full-grown teenage daughter, and I'm not looking forward to it. Thirsty Fish in the house today. Judah says, I'm going to watch that Charles Hoskinson stream after this. I'm all good, fam. And you? I'm doing great. CC's holding up well. Hyperliquid's holding up well. Zebek had a little bit of a pullback. I mean, Hyperliquid did have a pullback from its all-time high, but I'm still way up on Hyperliquid. So, I mean, right now, this pullback isn't really doing much to me because I'm not very heavily involved with Bitcoin. My XRP stack took a hit. But really, that's about it. That dude is not happy at all. Referring to Charles, I mean, he hasn't been happy for a while. He's been stomping and screaming for the last 3 months, and now he just looks defeated. He's like, I don't know what you guys want me to do. Here's what I think we should do. You vote it down. This is why governance is important. This is why not everything is going to be permission, or this is why everything can't be publicly governed. Because I'm sorry, me, you, random Joe Schmo with however much you have to stake on whatever blockchain does not deserve governance. I mean, who gives me, you, or the guy next door the right or the ability to decide what the best move forward for a blockchain is. We don't know what's going on in that. I mean, sure, we have our own ideologies. So the governance on Cardano is being run by, cypherpunk ideology that unfortunately Charles Hoskinson built for his blockchain over time. He is a grown man cypherpunk. He has been from the beginning, and that's the community he built. And they do not have the vision for institutional direction on their blockchain. They mentioned Draper. For those of you who aren't familiar with Draper, Draper is heavily invested in a lot of the Canton Network apps. So when they're telling me they're bringing in Draper, they're wanting to institutionalize Cardano. He's given up. He's thrown in the towel. He's saying, okay, we need to go this institutional way. This is the pivot, and you guys don't want to, so I don't know what you want me to do. Daniel Green in the house today. What's poppin'? Kelly made it. Haven't seen Kelly pop up in a little bit. Judah says that dude Arthur Hayes doesn't know what the hell he wants to promote anymore. He's all over the place, man. And again, this is what I'm saying. When you're listening to people or you're following them on X or whatever the case may be, take it with a grain of salt. What do they have to gain from it? Right? I mean, he pumped up. I mean, they're building their own brand. They're heavily invested. Again, I'm heavily invested in Canton Network. I'm being honest about it, though. I have no plans on selling it right now. I do plan on taking profits at some point, but I don't know what that's going to be. Kelly79, hi, fam. Good to have you back. I've been here, Judah. I've just been kind of quiet. Yeah, Kelly, you haven't been talking. I haven't seen you pop up there. Panther 100X, I sold all my other coins for Canton Network. Happy I did it. I mean, this week, a lot of people would be happy if they did that. I was talking with someone last night about Bitcoin because I still think it's going lower. They are very, very confident that we're about to have a face-ripping rebound. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen personally. And we were talking about it back and forth. And I said, hey, fair warning. I don't have any skin in this game. I don't own Bitcoin anymore. I sold it all for Canton back in December. In January, that's when I was dollar cost averaging out and moved into Canton. And it was a great decision for me to do that. I'm very much up on that transaction. Again, nothing's financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You should always do your own research. But a lot of people thought I was completely out of my freaking mind for selling Bitcoin and buying CC. Worked out well for me. That's all I can say. Kelly, still good to see you. I followed the crumbs, picked up some Canton, got Hype, XRP, and Zebek. Also hold some Ondo, HBAR, XLM Quant, and Link just in case there's something there. Well, so for those of you who may not know me personally, I started off YouTube talking about and directly investing in. So actually, rewind that. My personal investment strategy is 10% of my income for 10 years of my life. And I invest in what I believe is going to be the infrastructure of the future, both real world assets and digital assets. So real world assets being gold, silver, copper, real estate, these kinds of things, alternative energy. And then digital infrastructure, in my opinion, and that was Canton Network, XRP, and at the time, Chainlink, Ondo, and HBAR. And as I learned more and more and more about tokenomics and continued researching, I pivoted and I switched and I said, okay, I had Bitcoin because I thought Bitcoin was, digital gold. I'm like, okay, I'm getting out of this Bitcoin. I'm buying CC. I think this is the better way to go because Bitcoin didn't have any utility. And I saw a potential volume issue and a pullback or a large pullback for Bitcoin. I talked about that in December. I actually talked about the Bitcoin volume issue for a while since I started this channel back in September. And then moving on, I studied the tokenomics and I got out of HBAR and I got out of Ondo. I stopped accumulating Chainlink and I stopped accumulating XRP. I still hold my XRP and I still hold my Chainlink. I'm just not accumulating anymore. And then I also have dart throws into other cryptos like Quant and things like that, but I don't regularly stack them. But as it stands right now, again, not financial advice, just what I'm doing. My bag, if you will, my crypto bag is number 1 CC, number 2 is still XRP as far as weight goes, and then currently number 3 is tied between Hyperliquid and Chainlink as I'm stacking Hyperliquid, and then I'm stacking Zebek as well and Circle Stock. So I have a nice mix of digital infrastructure. I know I mainly talk about Canton Network, and it is my number 1 token as far as weight in my bag, but I focus on tokenization and what's going to benefit from tokenization based on tokenomics and adoption and where the money is actually flowing. That's what I try to focus on. Pink Panther says, I swapped most to Canton and it saved me. Should have done it sooner. A lot of people are telling that story. Canton is really getting a lot of attention right now because it's staying flat during this pullback. And I kind of had a feeling it was going to go this way. I thought a decoupling was going to come from a Bitcoin crash, not from just something taking off. I just was watching Crypto Hulk as he did a live about XLM and other blockchains that they have been doing tokenization and hidden dark pools since 2012, especially some of these big players. I mean, I don't know about that. Is that verifiable anywhere? A lot of people can come out and talk about this stuff, but is it really verifiable anywhere that they've been doing some kind of tokenization in a private dark pool? That would be completely counter to what the lady from Stellar just came on Paul Barron and said. She's like, it's a public blockchain. There's no way to hide anything. Right? Literally just said that on Paul Barron Network, the lady from XLM, from Stellar. So I'm curious what his source is for that information. I thought atomic settlement meant instant settlement. No, actually. Atomic settlement means either it settles with both parties or it does not settle at all. That is atomic settlement. So like with ZK proofs, let's discuss the privacy element. With ZK proofs, no one sees anything in the transaction. So no one knows if no one knows if something needs to be changed, whatever, the transaction is just going to go. And it could be the wrong transaction. So that's the point. That's why I don't think ZK proofs are going to work for institutions, because they set up the proof. Like, say they need to send them $1 trillion. Okay, well, they set it up. They do a ZK proof, so it's all private. But the person receiving it doesn't know what they're receiving now, right? So how are they going to accept the transaction when they don't really know what it is? Now, granted, it's private, but no one can see anything until the transaction's settled. Whereas atomic settlement, only the parties involved see the transaction, need to know basis, and either both parties agree to the transaction and it settles, or it doesn't. Period. If something changes in the transaction, if say they send get the transaction set up, receiver's like, okay, this looks good, they both accept, it goes through. Say they set up the transaction, receiver looks at it and says, no, this isn't right. They're like, oh yeah, that's right. They both agree to the change, and then it goes through. That's atomic settlement. Whereas instant settlement is great and all, but the transaction can still be flawed. They can't have those kind of issues when you're talking about quadrillions of dollars of volume from the DTCC or the BIS or Visa or whoever they're working with. They don't want to have those mistakes. So by having it programmable, need to know, and that option of atomic settlement is a safety net that these institutions like. It still creates the speed of the transaction as long as both parties agree to the terms. Now it's going to go live on Canton and XLM first. In regards to Crypto Hulk, SVJ in the house. Kelly says, I just sold a bit of Bitcoin today to buy back when we get an even lower price. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, Kelly. I know you rely heavily on my opinion, but it is just my opinion. Raul, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Today is the only day that super chats and super thanks and all that stuff is not going to the channel growth. Today, any super chat, anything you guys give is going to give my daughter the best birthday I possibly can. Just letting you guys know. So anything you guys give today, that's what's happening. It's going to my daughter's birthday. So I appreciate that, Raul, and I'm sure she will appreciate it too, as she lovingly calls you cheeseburger. My daughter likes to hang out sometimes in the members only live streams. I don't let her go on regular YouTube, but I let her pop into the member streams because they're private. And her first interaction with Raul, he was eating. And I told him, I said, put the cheeseburger down and talk. So he wasn't even eating a cheeseburger, but now she calls him cheeseburger for all time. SVJ, does tokenization on XLM benefit coin holders other than just news and hype? How does XLM gain value with low gas and burn fees? Those are excellent questions, SVJ. I have not found the answer on how that happens because they have such a low burn rate. The only thing I know of that's going to drive the price is speculation and hype and people actually holding the token. The tokenomics and burn rate are not good on XLM. They are very, very, very similar to XRP. So do your own research and make your own decisions. I personally do not invest in XLM because of the poor tokenomics, but that's just me. Michael Watson in the house today. Raul, you are the best, bro. This community is the best. Don't get it twisted. You guys are all freaking amazing. So don't get it twisted. This community is awesome. Even when we're bickering and arguing and we're maybe not agreeing on things, or maybe I said something wrong, whatever. But the ability to actually have a logical discussion and a mature discussion about crypto and the future of crypto is very, very rare. So this space, believe it or not, this space that exists, I was talking about it with Crux yesterday after we got off the stream, because you guys blew up the chat. And for the most part, it was a really, really, really good open conversation. And I'm sorry I couldn't get to all the chat yesterday. We went 2 hours and couldn't get through half of it, it felt like. So, this community, I hope you guys know, is actually extremely special. And I get compliments on it all the time. So thank you all for being freaking awesome. I'm still learning. It's never too late. Hey, the lessons we learn in investing come from losses, right? The biggest lessons we learn in investing is when we lost money. And if we don't learn those lessons, we're going to continue to lose money, in my opinion. I lost a lot of money in crypto in 2021, 2022. I don't plan on doing that again. And I'm hoping to save you guys from doing that. That's the goal. I want everyone to make money. I want to build a community around people who are here for long-term investing and don't get wrecked in these cycles and meme news and all this crap. The reason I sold ICP, nobody uses it, makes no revenue. Hype just not good enough anymore. Again, I'll be first person to tell you this. For everyone who was watching yesterday, I'll be the first person to tell you this. I still need to do more research on ICP. I did not give it a fair deep dive like I usually do, like I did in the past with XLM or VeChain or things like that. And that's why I wanted to bring someone else in, because he knew a lot more about it than me. But to be fair, we were very distracted with what was happening with Bitcoin at the time. There was a much bigger narrative taking place at that time. We had the full inclination of just doing ICP and Caspa. And I was like, no, we need to talk about Bitcoin. Like everything going on with Bitcoin right now, people are scared. Like we have to talk about this. So I pivoted and that morning, and I probably wasn't as prepared for ICP as I was for Bitcoin, and that's on me. So I still think I need to do more research on ICP if I'm being fair. And I always tell you guys when I mess up or if I might be wrong about something. Now, I'm not saying it's a great project by any means. I'm saying I need to do more research on it so I give it a fair shake. What's up, Daniel? How's the weather out there? Getting hot in Texas. It's getting warm up here. Actually, it's gorgeous today, though. It's literally 81 degrees and sunny right now. I could not be happier with the weather in Missouri. To no one uses ICP. It's generating 9K a day on average from compute. Highest dev count in 9 months. Okay. Leverage KIF for education. He says no one's using it. I believe it's being used. Here's my issue. And I fully admit I need to do more research on ICP, and I'm not trying to get into a huge ICP debate today, but what are the fees? How much revenue are those transactions producing? Because right now, Hyperliquid and Canton Coin or Canton Network are the two biggest fee producers for utility tokens. And if it's going to be a utility token, where it rises based on fees. That is the design of ICP. The entire thing is its price is going to rise based on fees. So what is this transaction volume doing for the fees, and what are those fees doing for the token? That's what I'm trying to track down. So it's not just a matter of the flywheel of how it's supposed to work. Is it working? Can we see anything to lead to a thought that it's going to work like we expect it to? It's still very early. And again, it had a rocky launch in 2021 with everything that was going on. But Canton is doing 2 to 2.5 million a day. How is ICP better? So a lot of people think the technology for ICP is better. Again, I don't necessarily agree with that. But that being said, it could. And here's my thing about technology, and I've said this before. You can have the greatest technology in the world. If you don't have customers and you're not generating money, you got to rock. Okay. So they could have better technology. Could. I'm not saying they do, but they could. But they don't have the customer base that's generating the revenue that's going to transition to the token holders, at least right now. And I want to do more research onto how it's actually going to come back to us as retail holders. I want to better understand what's going to happen on ICP that's going to translate to value for me. I don't care what's going to translate to value for the blockchain. I want to know what's going to translate to value for me. Let's go, crypto. Let's go. It is that season. He means it's not making hardly any money for retail, not ICP. It's a good project, but folks need returns. I'm buying the dip. Well, and that's the thing. That's one of the mindsets I'm trying to beat into the heads. I'm like, okay, what's good for the blockchain does not mean it's good for the token, i.e. what's good for you, because we cannot invest in the blockchain. I would love to own shares of Ripple as opposed to XRP. I would love to, as much as I like my CC, I would still prefer to own shares of digital asset as opposed to CC. But in the world of crypto, this is what we have to do. So I am trying to find the best tokens that translate to money for me from investment. Different product market fit. You have to look at the tech, the ambition, the team, and their delivery. Most idiots in crypto want 100x, but don't know how to invest. I would agree with you on that statement. Not all, but most. Most people do not know. Most people do not know anything. Most people don't know how their token's actually going to work. And I'm sorry, I got distracted. I have to go to this. Thank you very much for the donation, 84YK. I don't know what denomination that is, but thank you very much. I will be sure to tell her. Where are you from, 84YK? I'm not sure what this currency is, but thank you very much. I appreciate you. I'll be sure to let her know. Swift integrates Linea for blockchain settlement. Thoughts on Linea used by Swift? I don't think it's going to have much of an effect. Honestly, I mean, Swift is going to have their part, but the thing is, Swift is tied into Hyperledger Besu for the liquidity and the attachment to the other blockchains, and I just have a feeling most of the stuff that's happening on Hyperledger Besu is going to roll out directly to Canton and XLM at this point, and whoever the DTCC is working with, because we know the money goes where the liquidity flows, right? Liquidity begets more liquidity. As more and more stacks around one area, it's going to pull in the rest of the institutions to participate in that. That's just my opinion. And it's not going to be one chain to rule them all. Swift's not going away tomorrow, right? So they're still gonna hang on and fight and scrape and claw. Like, I mean, think about it. If someone was coming to put you out of business and take your livelihood, are you just going to roll over and take it? Or are you going to try to adapt and find a way to keep your peace? I feel like that's the transition period we're in right now. Like, the banks and institutions have hit the realization over the last year or two, like, oh crap, we need to do this. It's not going away. How do we make this work for us? And that's why we're seeing Canton. That's why we're seeing ARC. That's why we're seeing, Hyperledger Besu. That's why we're seeing the SEC put in clear rules around tokenization, and we see who's already meeting those rules ahead of time. That stuff doesn't happen on accident, at least not in my opinion. That's why you have to be plugged in. That tech at Smallbox does nothing to put a meal on the table. It's a great project, but for me, not now. Okay. I'm not saying you buy it on my account. I'm saying research it objectively, then see if it's for you or not. That's exactly what we try to do here. Literally. That is exactly what I preach, is research it objectively, see if it works for you or not. We're not all going to agree on the same crypto investments, right? We're different people. We have different beliefs. We think other things are going to succeed based on our own views and opinions. I think Canton Coin is going to succeed because of its tokenomics and because of the institutional money that's coming into the Canton Network. And I truly do believe Yuval Ruse when he tells me to my face that the private subnet burns are going to start in the next few months. But that's me. Some people think I'm an idiot for believing him. Most of those people, unfortunately, listen to other founders and CEOs that told them for years their blockchain is going to do this. And we see what's happening now with some of those founders and CEOs. Oh my gosh, the chat crashed. Let me fix it real quick. But I mean, we saw just what just happened with Charles Hoskinson, right? So a lot of these founders and CEOs now are starting to walk back and talk different words. We've heard it from Brad Garlinghouse. He didn't say, of course, XRP is dying, but he's been very adamant over the last 6 to 12 months about the anti-tribalism and the anti-Maxiism and trying to get away from and we heard David Schwartz talking about trying to get away from the conspiracy theories and stuff like that. These are things they didn't talk about a year ago, but those narratives still existed. They never squashed them then. So I feel like just the entire crypto space now is maturing a little bit. A lot of retail got wrecked, and I think that the transition is over to institutional, and we're starting to see it play out now. But that's just me. I'm right now I'm fixing the chat because it crashed on me. I'm getting it set back up again, so bear with me here. I'm putting it in here so I can see you guys. I made money on Cardano in 2021. I still hold a little bit. Oh, it's still working. Good. I don't have to do it. I don't think. This one. Boom. I do not hold Cardano. I never held Cardano. I never bought Cardano. I actually, truthfully, thought I missed out on that one in 2019, and I started getting into Solana. And then Solana ran to $250 and I sold it. It is the only crypto I made profit on was Solana because it was the only one I sold back in 2021. I understand, fam. I think ICP will do good. It very well could, and it could be one that I'm wrong about. Right now, I just don't think that, given the circumstances, it's one that I want to invest in. I want to see more. Also, in the beginning, it doesn't work. You can have the best project in the world, but if nobody uses the project, collapses. Hello, everyone. Glad I sold all my ADA years ago. I mean, I've been saying I thought the blockchain was dying for like 6 months. When Charles started going off the deep end, started ranting and raving, I've been saying it on this channel. I'm like, I think Cardano might be done. ADA will never see top 10 again. Probably not unless someone comes in and takes over the blockchain with a new direction. Like they would have to completely revamp Cardano. I think Cardano is a failed experiment at this point. It cannot survive without completely reworking it. And I think that's why they brought in Draper. Honestly, they're trying to institutionalize it, but the governance model is voting it down because they don't want institutions. They don't want the governance that way. CC is not connected to BTC. Looks like utility is here. I've been saying that my belief on CC is that the current burn rate is what's holding the floor of 14.5 cents. That's been my personal opinion, that it's stuck like that. Until we see an increase in burn, we're not going to see it a new floor. That's me, but that's just what I'm thinking. That's what I'm looking at. It's going to a 1.7 trillion overall market cap. Again, overall, I think crypto will go back to a 1.7 trillion market cap and beyond. I think crypto will go there and beyond, but there's a quote I heard, for a few to be immortal, many must die. So I do think we're going to have a handful of winners, but I think we're going to see in this bear market, we're going to see a lot of altcoins disappear. I don't think Bitcoin's done falling. I just don't. I've been talking about it for months. I thought this could potentially happen. And when we look at what's happening globally, if we want to get out of crypto for a second, let's just take a look at what's happening globally right now. Private credit is shit. We still have a national problem with Iran. Energy costs are going through the roof. Oil reserves are at an all-time low. The more expensive oil gets, the more expensive everything gets. And because of that, we're going to start seeing problems in the AI sector because a lot of the chemicals and minerals that are produced from refining oil are used for semiconductor production and microchips. So the longer this issue goes on with oil, because of the Strait of Hormuz and because of Iran and because of everything going on in the Middle East, AI gets more expensive. AI computing gets more expensive, which is what's driving our S&P 500 right now, mind you, is debt investment into AI. 7 stocks prop up the entire S&P 500 right now if you want to get macro with it. And if you think that crypto does not follow the overall stock market, wait for the stock market to take a dump, because it's coming too. Wait for the stock market to take a dump, and I think that's when we're going to see Bitcoin go the rest of the way. But that's just my opinion. I mean, crypto is a slave to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still a slave to the overall global markets. It's just how it goes, in my opinion. Thoughts on Linea being used by Swift? I mean, Linea is built on Hyperledger Besu, and I really am not afraid of Hyperledger Besu after I learned that Digital Asset, the company behind Canton Network, gave that to Linux. So I don't think that's something we need to worry about as Canton holders. I think it's something people need to worry about potentially as other cross-border payment holders that aren't involved with Hyperledger Besu and that aren't necessarily involved with the DTCC. So I would consider that. Okay, laughing on guy, I guess nobody uses it then. No, people use ICP, but it's just not generating value to the token right now. I'll be full disclosure. The transactions taking place on ICP are phenomenal. They're phenomenal. It's the highest amount of transaction volume I think of any other crypto right now over the last couple weeks. But it's not translating to token price. So that tells me I have to pay more attention to the burn. I need to do more research as far as actually what's being burned and how it contributes to token price. I just need to do more research on it. But for me, again, it's all about how does value return to me as the investor. What do you think of Adele? I'm very excited about Adele on Canton Network because that's what we were just talking about, tokenization today. That's exactly what they're going to be doing on the Canton Network. They're going to be tokenizing stocks, treasuries, securities, whatever. They're going to be tokenizing those things so we can actually deploy them in Canton Network DeFi, which now granted, they are targeted more institutionally, but there are other things coming up on Canton Network. And I'm speaking specifically to Canton Network because that's where I develop on. That's where I'm focusing on most of the time. So I see a lot of the projects. But this is happening in a lot of blockchains in a lot of places. So what do I think of Adele? I think it's very good because I think it's going to create that ability for us to stake and use our tokenized stocks. So I'm excited about it. They have their own token. I haven't bought any yet, but I plan on it. I want to put a dart throw on Adele. I do. I've done some research. To me, Adele X is going to be, once it releases, is the one I'm actually trying to get to. Adele X is the Canton Network version of Adele. Once that becomes available, I want to have a dart throw of it and hold it because it's trying to be the hyperliquid of Canton Network. And if they pull that off institutionally, that's a lot of money involved, and the tokenomics, again, feedback to the token. So if it is successful, it could do very, very well, but it is extremely risky. It's extremely new. So to me, that's a high risk, high reward play. So I'm probably going to take a dart throw of it at it. I'm probably going to buy maybe $500 to $1,000 worth of it and just put it aside and hope. But I'm waiting for Adele X because I want to be able to utilize it on the Canton Network. They are also available on Ethereum. And don't forget, that the EVM sidechain is coming soon with Zenith. Zenith is developing an EVM sidechain to connect Canton Network to the Ethereum developers and Ethereum liquidity. We're going to have Hesslin Kim on the channel, I believe June 11th, to talk about that. That's going to be very, very, very big for Canton Network. Just throwing it out there. I would strongly suggest watching that interview when I have Hesslin Kim on, co-founder of Zenith. There's going to be a lot of good information in that one. And for those of you, again, for those of you who may have missed the update, I was supposed to have Akash from Alpend on the channel at 8 p.m. last night. I announced Tuesday that we moved that to Friday morning. Unfortunately, we had a scheduling mix-up. He was on a plane during the time we were supposed to do the interview but at the time we were supposed to do the interview last night. So again, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we're going to have Akash from Alpend here. I'm sure they'll probably be giving away some access to Alpend if you want access. But if you have questions about the DeFi protocol, staking, lending, risks, all of those things that follow DeFi, this is going to be the stream for you guys. So if you're up early tomorrow, you might want to check it out. Otherwise, you can catch the replay, but I'll make sure I have some good questions for them. But we are going to have live questions just like we did with OneSwap, just like we did with Yuval. That's going to be kind of the play moving forward. What do you think of the conversation? Some people are selling crypto to have cash on hand for future IPOs soon to come in June. And after these June IPOs, a rotation will occur back to crypto. Oh. I mean, honestly, if you really... I haven't talked about this because it's pure speculation. It's just my opinion. If you look at what's been happening with crypto over the last 6 months and what's been happening with AI, it's very freaking clear where the money has been rotating into. It's been rotating into the AI stocks. All investment is rotating into the AI stocks. So when are we going to see the next big boom in crypto? It's going to be when something new breaks the narrative. Something new and exciting has to break the narrative. And what's that going to be? And when that happens, unless something new and exciting to break the narrative happens to Bitcoin, only the tokens that are affected by what's new and exciting are going to benefit from it, right? So I think this is where we start seeing our utility decoupling. This is what I was talking about day before yesterday. This is where I start to think we're going to see a decoupling. Money's going to continue rotating into AI stocks. I don't think it's going to rotate back into crypto like it used to. I don't. I think select winners will get that rotation. But I don't think it's going to be like a overall rotation back into Bitcoin until it hits that 37,000 floor or 38,000, wherever, somewhere in the 30s. I think it's going in the 30s. That's just me. That's my conviction. That's why I got out of Bitcoin last year. XRP, Zebek, XLM, BSL. I haven't heard of BSL. Of course, I heard of XRP and Zebek, XLM. I'm still stacking Zebek. I hold XRP. My daughter likes XLM. I don't hold any of that, but BSL, I don't know what that is. And of course, CC. Well, we all know that one, right? I do hold a very large bag of CC. Hello, Longview. I just bought some more CC. I did, when did I buy? I bought some at 14.8 yesterday. I got another $500 worth. I can't remember how much CC I got, but I just picked up $500 worth. MT Gox was created by Jed McCaleb, and he literally advertised buy and sell outside the public, aka dark pool. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm just telling you what the lady from Stellar said on Paul Barron Network the other day. She literally said, we're a public blockchain. We can't be permissionless and private even if we wanted to. I'm like, you're so full of crap. I thought XRP had non-public ledgers as well. The bearer cartoons show invisible ledger books. So XRP now has permissioned and permissionless ledgers. They did do that. And they also have ZK proofs, but their permissioned ledgers are similar to what Canton Network was trying to do. But again, it creates fragmentation. And again, both sides have to be composable with it. And it doesn't form the atomic settlement because they use ZK proofs. I mean, the thing, if you follow me on X, there's a guy named TrenchWeb3. His name's Lewis from Minted. He did a video on XRP and Canton Network not too long ago where he talks about that XRP was built and then patchworked to fit over the years what these institutions wanted. That's why ZK proofs, that's why permissioned ledgers came on, that's why all these things. So it was patchworked, whereas Canton worked with these institutions and built it exactly the way they wanted it from the ground up. So we don't have to worry about patchwork bridges or ZK proofs or anything like that. It's all right there, composable directly on the private ledger. And again, that was what he said. And again, I'm not an institutional bank, but for me, I would want the simplest, safest, most conviction for my project, right? So if I'm looking at something and I'm trying to decide what's going to be best for me to use moving forward, I'm going to choose the one that's tailor built for me, that I don't have to jump around a bunch of hoops, right? Just basic thinking. I'm sure it's not that easy. Again, I'm not an institutional banker, but I would use the project that was built for me, right? Wouldn't you? I mean, that just seems like common sense. And maybe it's not that simple. Maybe I'm crazy, but I tend to keep it simple, stupid, and it tends to work a lot of the times. I think we overcomplicate this shit sometimes, and people, because of all the narratives and stories and riddles, like sometimes it really is that easy. It really is. Greetings from Cape Town, South Africa. Just subscribe. Great content. I like the way you explain everything so clearly and simply for the newbies. Just started looking into Canton. Thanks. Well, I'm glad. Hey, welcome to the crew. I appreciate every single one of you for taking the time to be here. One thing I haven't said, and I say it all the time, but I haven't said in a while. Your time is your most valuable possession. You will never get more time. It's the only commodity. You don't know what your balance is, okay? So the fact that you guys spend an hour or more every single day here with me, I truly appreciate it. And I try to give you as much value as I can every single day. That is my goal, is to provide you guys value, because to me, your time is extremely valuable, and you're taking it and spending it here with me. There's nothing better you can do. There's nothing bigger you could do. And all these public figures lie for a living. Look at Michael Saylor. Look at Tommy Lee. I mean, they have been feeding the same BS for months, and it just keeps doing the same thing. I now suspect Ripple may have set us up on XRP to develop their company, but I too am in the top 5%, as I can't shake the XRP Army Club. A lot of people are like you and me, Blue Jay. I think there's a lot more people out there who feel this way about XRP. I feel there's a lot of YouTubers who feel this way about XRP, but they will not say it to their community. No, sir. Because their entire community revolves around the XRP thesis. So they can't shift because they'll lose their viewership. So I do feel like there are some XRP people who are still trapped in trying to sell the narrative of these different theories of high prices, and because otherwise they're not going to get paid on YouTube. But I mean, I could be wrong. That's just me. Yo, CC crew, where's the Pirates hat? So I need to get a Pirates hat. Okay. I'll consider that. I'll consider it. Maybe I'll get a Pirates hat. Maybe I'll get a pirate hat and we can use it for giveaway Saturdays. Right? So FYI, if you haven't been paying attention this week, from now on, every Saturday is giveaway day. I'm giving away something every Saturday, whether it's CC, whether it's a hardware wallet, whether it's merch, I don't know. I'm giving away something. So this Saturday, I'm giving away a free CypherRock X1 wallet. It's a cold storage wallet for CC, completely free, sent to me from CypherRock. Open the damn package on the live stream, if you guys remember correctly, if you were here for that. So I still have the box. It's sitting right over there. I'd have to get up and get it, but I am giving it away Saturday, still sealed in plastic, still has all of its seals on it. The only thing is completely free to whoever wins, except if you live outside of the United States, you have to pay for the shipping, man. I can't pay for shipping outside the US. Especially like I looked into some of it, some places that you guys live, it costs more to ship the wallet than it does to buy the wallet, which is kind of crazy to me. But for those of you here, I will be giving it away live in stream to someone. You have to be in the stream to win. It's not going to be on the replay this time. So Saturday at noon, CypherRock X1 wallet giveaway. Cold storage wallet for CC. How is Hype getting away with sports SpaceX if the new SEC rule can't use synthetic tokenization? So Hyperliquid is not within the United States. They do not operate within the United States. That's why they were meeting in DC to try and get their approval to operate within the United States. That's the biggest risk for Hyperliquid. Now, here's the thing. If the new SEC rule says you can't use synthetic tokenized assets, is Hyperliquid using synthetic tokenized assets? We don't know that. We have to take a deeper look into what kind of tokenized assets they are using. My opinion, not financial advice. No, I don't, Raul. I haven't done any research on VVV. I've heard a few people mention it, but I haven't done anything on it. I hold ICP, but I recognize Canton as one of the very few technological builds that shows advancement for real-world use cases. I appreciate your sincerity on the ICP evaluation and ICP cloud engines. I try to do my best. Here's the way I see it. If I'm unauthentic or inauthentic, however you want to say it, that's going to show. You guys watch me every day. You can see it in my face when I talk, when I mean what I say. Okay? I'm not here to BS you guys. I'm not here to make money off you guys. I'm here to grow a community and help provide a different viewpoint around crypto so people don't get wrecked all the time. Just a different way of investing. Love the Motoko Ghost. Don't know that one. And again, thanks for all the donations, guys. It is my daughter's 14th birthday today. We will be taking her out tonight after I get off the stream. I made a statement that usually, because it's true, every single donation, every single membership, every single thing that this channel earns goes to growing the channel and building the app. It's all about growing the community. So today I made a special announcement. It's my daughter's 14th birthday. So I'm taking her out to celebrate today. She grew 4 inches, lost 2 sizes. She turned from a girl to a woman over a year. I am not ready for it, but I'm taking her out to get a new wardrobe because none of her clothes fit. The girl has like 3 outfits. So everything that happens in the stream today is going to her birthday. First time I'm taking it away from the stream, so I appreciate you guys. But no, I haven't heard anything about VVV coin. Maybe I'll do some more research on that. We can discuss it in the future, hopefully. Pakistan, Swiss subnet, cloud engines, caffeine AI, agentic AI agents, temper-proof, 100%. It has some great tech and it has great promise. But right now, it's just not creating money. It's just me. Scott, you mentioned that you don't like Bittenstore Tau. Reason, thanks. Happy birthday to your daughter. I got away from it was funny with Tau. So I did research on Tau. I'm like, I'm going to start getting in Tau because I want exposure to an AI technology. I wanted exposure to an AI crypto. And I made that decision. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start dollar cost averaging into it. The next day, literally the next day, all that subnet drama went down where their largest subnet left and they had like a 20% collapse. And there was a bunch of drama going back and forth about what was going on behind the scenes as far as governance and the way they were treating people and token holders and stuff like that. There's just a bunch of drama and a bunch of unknowns going on with Tau. And I'm like, nope, I'm not getting into it. So I actually was literally about to buy in right before that happened. And that happened. And I'm like, okay, could it be nothing? Could it rebound? Could all the drama be bogus? Yes, it absolutely could be. But that was not a bet I was willing to take with my money. That's simple. I like to know what I hold. And it looked like the people who had the most money on that blockchain didn't know what was going on and got screwed. So I mean, that's why. European Commission raises kill switch fears to make 27 countries across Europe to junk American and Chinese technology. This is where ICP cloud engines enter. Well, we'll see. Here's the problem with that. That may be true. But, and for those of you outside the United States, I'm sorry, but I'll fully admit it. It's not necessarily something I'm proud of. But the United States economy rules the world, right? Can we agree on that? Do you not, like, I'm not saying it with a puffed out chest or anything like that. It's just a fact. Everything runs on the US dollar. Everything runs on the US stock market, the US economy. It all flows this direction until otherwise. So I'm looking at because here's the thing, as the US does it, all the liquidity, all those tokenized treasuries. Now, granted, other countries are dropping US treasuries like crazy. Look at China, it's happening. But right now, as it still stands, the money's still flowing through the United States. The money's still going to follow US treasuries and US liquidity. And that's being built on Canton right now and XLM. So that liquidity begets more liquidity. Again, you can have the greatest technology in the world, but if you don't have the customers that are using it, you have a pet rock. ICP has the best tokenomics in the industry. However, most people look at the chart first. NVIDIA was sub $1 for 11 years. I disagree with this wholeheartedly, Smallpox. I will admit that I need to do more research on ICP, but it does not have the best tokenomics in history. And you can throw that out the window by the pre-mint that went 50% to ICP, to the people who created it. Now, granted, I understand they have a lot staked. Cool, that's fine. 50% of the tokens went to the blockchain, to the people who created the blockchain. So that right there, I don't care what the tokenomics say beyond that. That right there says it doesn't have the best tokenomics, because there is an entity that controls 50% of the supply that can do whatever the hell they want with it. I understand a lot of it's staked right now, but if they want to, they can dump it. Okay? That does not make for good tokenomics. I'm sorry. It's just the facts. So now outside that, the burn ratio, great. I do like the burn mechanism. I think that's good. Okay, but again, there was a pre-mine, right? People got ICP tokens at the beginning that they can dump to make money, and we saw it happen in 2021 when they first, like, that's why so many people went away from ICP, because it came out and then dumped right away. The DTCC recently joined with XLM. Yes, they announced XLM as the second blockchain in their multi-chain move forward, releasing in the first half of 2027. But they did announce Canton Network as the first blockchain back on December 17th of 2025. So, and they're rolling out on July 13th with their soft launch, with the full rollout in October. So over the next few months, we'll see it roll out with the Canton Network before we actually see it roll out with XLM. Most people didn't pay attention to that and don't understand, because no one paid attention to the Canton Network because it came out of nowhere. But Canton Network was actually announced as the first blockchain partner with the DTCC back in December, and they're rolling out here in July starting. Scott, that's Israel shekels. Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know what they were. Thank you. I appreciate that. Following crypto whales on their bags is like following Hollywood weirdos on morale. I mean, you're not wrong, my friend. You're not wrong. Oh my gosh, you guys blew it up. I appreciate it. I'm going to thank every one of you, promise. ICP has great technology, but it needs to be used. Hope and coming soon is so 2020. Okay, yeah, you're right. I DCA ADA since 2021. Now I'm really disappointed with Charles. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry. He was a very adamant influencer figure in his blockchain, and he wholeheartedly believed in, I believe, the cypherpunk mentality. I never thought that was going to win. And I've been saying that from the beginning. I didn't thought that mentality was going to win, and I thought Cardano was going to be one of the first to go because of it. I really am sad to be right. I don't want that for any blockchain. I really don't. But I didn't think the cypherpunk way was going to win, and this is, to me, this is clear evidence of that. Literal blockchains are dying. They're like, Cardano very well could disappear and go to zero if there is not a major change. He's pretty much saying that, right? If you watch the video, he was pretty much saying that. Can you explain the CC burn? I'm new. Okay. So Canton, I'm going to give you a very simple version. I've probably explained this in depth like 20 times. So I'm going to go quickly, but I'm going to try and hit the key points. So there was no pre-mine, no pre-mint. Every single CC token was earned through utility. Number one. Super validators started receiving 80% of all minted CC. Let's start with the mint schedule. There's going to be 100 billion CC released over 10 years. That is the initial launch. Beyond that, think of it like a stock. Beyond that, after that 10 years, they are going to inflate the token price or stock price, however you want to look at it, 2.5% every year. So once they get the first 100 billion tokens launched over the first 10 years, the inflation drops to 2.5 billion, and it stair steps all the way down. They launched more tokens at the beginning, and it's stair stepping all the way down to, I believe, 2034 is the last halving. It gets down to 2.5 billion, and then maintains that 2.5 billion onward. So unless real utility is driving the burn mechanism for CC, it will stay inflationary. But if we're gonna, I think we can't really discuss this without the picture, can we? I feel like we need the picture to tell the full story here. So if you look at the actual burn to mint equilibrium since the inception of Canton Network, you can see the daily burn activity skyrocketed up, fell down, and then went back up and has been maintaining pretty flat right around 12 to 15 million CC per day. And since it got to that level, which happened, by the way, when they did the double halving, or after the announcement from the DTCC in December, and then they did a double halving in January, restricting the supply in the mint. So right now, I believe it's 10 billion CC are being minted annually until the next halving in 2029, when it goes to 5 billion, and then the final halving in 2033 or 2034, I can't remember which one, goes to 2.5 billion. So the supply is shrinking. Even though it's an infinite supply, the amount being minted is shrinking. You can see that by this mint over here. You see how it stair-step down? And then you can see here, this is the minting rewards, current cumulative mint activity. You can see it's flattening. Look at the cumulative burn activity. So burn rate has been increasing dramatically as, again, remember the Canton coin just came on to effect. I believe it became available for retail in November of 2025, and it released originally, I think, in May of 2025 is when super validators, app developers started actually earning it on the network. But again, only earned by utility. They had to be participating in the network to earn the CC. And then the token became available for retail in November, the announcement with DTCC in December, and then they did the double halving in January. So, but anyway, the point is you can see it going, you can see the minting of the actual token flatlining as it's ramping up and the burn to mint. Now, that's how it all works. Okay. And right now, who earns CC? Who earns the new minted CC? It's the people doing the work on the blockchain. Super validators get 20% of the minted CC. App developers and devs get 62% of all the freshly minted CC. And then the regular standard validators get 15%, and 3%, I believe, goes to the Canton Grant Fund, which the Grant Fund is to help developers such as myself apply for grants to get money to build on the network to, again, drive value to the network. So I've always been openly disclosed that I am up for a grant. My proposal is $195 because I am building an app on the Canton Network. I'm building a community first app on the Canton Network. But now, one important thing to understand when we're talking about the burn to mint equilibrium or the burn to mint ratio or any of those things. The only thing that burns CC is what goes through the global synchronizer, what happens on the main net. Remember, Canton Network has many private subnets. They can create infinite amounts of Canton Network, okay? So right now, DTCC pilots, HSBA pilots, HSBC pilots, whatever, Japanese bond market, pick your big contributor, okay? Pick your big catalyst. All of those are running through the private subnets. They're not running through the global synchronizer. So they're not burning CC. But also remember, all the burning of CC. Here's how it works, by the way. This is important. I always forget to say it. So all fees are denominated in dollars, right? I don't care how they determine the fees. They're denominated in dollars. We'll say $100. So you have to transact. You have to pay $100 in fees. You have to burn CC equal to that $100. So that CC gets burned, destroyed, poof, it's gone forever. Now, as the price of CC rises, you need less CC to burn for that $100, which means less will be burned. That is burn to mint equilibrium. So if utility is not rising to continue pushing, then the burn to mint equilibrium is going to try and push it back down to a stable price. So in the end, the price of Canton should be determined by the amount of utility that is driving the burn of CC. And it's important that we look at the burn of CC because they have private subnets and public blockchain, public mainnet, and only the mainnet runs through the global synchronizer and burns CC right now. However, we have heard from Yuval Ruse live on this channel that they are working daily and currently have a CIP that they are working on to bring the burns to the private subnets. Again, hasn't happened yet, so it's speculation. That's the risk we take as CC investors. But the CEO himself, from his mouth on this channel, said that. You can believe it or not, that's up to you. But that is the best description of the tokenomics. I knew I said I was going to do it quickly. I think I rambled for a while there, but that's the best description of the tokenomics I can give. Let me hop back into the chat here. Thank you, the Thorazine? I appreciate the donation. I really, really do. Thank you very much. And again, thank all of you for taking your time to be here today. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream. Hopefully it's giving you value. Man, you guys are going to keep me going all day today. This is great. You guys are great. Scott, Provenance blockchain is second in ranking 18 billion after Canton 334 billion and represented RWAs and has a token hash. I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of that. I am interested in the represented RWAs though. So when you look at DeFi Llama and you look at represented versus TVL, remember TVL is total value locked. A lot of people who are used to looking at DeFi Llama are pissed because the TVL for Canton is next to non-existent because it's all private. And they don't understand how, a company that only has $450,000 of products locked in DeFi are generating $2 million in fees and blowing everyone out of the water. Privacy is a wonderful thing. Remember, not everything is visible on the Canton Network. Mr. Kuchi says ICP is crap and over embellished. Hey, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Cardano can survive for a time. It can integrate with ICP blockchain, use its tools. That is one real world use case for ICP to build it. We'll see. I mean, like I said, Charles announced that they're bringing in Draper. They just gave Draper a bunch of Cardanos to start building. Remember, Draper is actively building a lot of the investing in and building a lot of the apps that are taking place on the Canton Network right now. Any thoughts on WorldCoin? No, don't have any thoughts on WorldCoin. I have been invested in Cardano for years. It's so sad seeing it go down. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Rest in peace, Cardano. Thoughts on Cardano? For those of you who came in late, I'll quickly recap my thoughts on Cardano. I've been talking about Cardano now for at least 4 months, if not longer, that I thought Cardano might disappear in this bull run because it doesn't have any revenue. It didn't have any institutional use cases. It was very, very cypherpunk oriented, and as passionate and true as he is, I do believe Charles Hoskinson. I understand, I feel bad for him. I understand what he was trying to build, and ultimately it is what we want. I mean, we want to get away from the banks. We want true DeFi. I just didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think the banks were going to allow it, and I thought it was being played out in real time, and we could see it coming with Cardano. And over the last few months, he's been getting angrier and angrier, lashing out at Ripple, lashing out at, policymakers in Washington, lashing out at anyone who would freaking listen, honestly. And it sounded like an angry toddler stomping his foot because he didn't get what he wanted. And when this was announced, I'm like, okay, this makes sense now why he's been so angry. Because he's been seeing his project go down the toilet and there's nothing he can do about it. So I think if Cardano recovers from this, it's going to be under a full rebrand. And right now the governance is voting down what they need to do in order to rebrand it, which is not giving me a lot of hope. They would have to completely change their governance model to start. Like, it would be a whole new blockchain. So that's why I think it's done. Without completely reinventing the blockchain and tearing it down and starting over. I don't see how it's successful. That's just me, though. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. Hype's 15 billion market cap seems wonderfully low, even though it's at or near all-time highs right now. You know who else's market cap seems wonderfully low right now? Canton's, with their big, whopping $6 billion market cap. But yet XLM runs on the news. I don't get it. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to donate. I would like to donate something for Hiller's birthday. Well, I appreciate that. People are doing super chats. No one is required to donate. I appreciate all of you. I'll be sure to make sure I give her a very, very, very happy birthday. You guys are awesome. Happy birthday, Lady Longview. Why Adele X over Adele? Because Adele X will be used on the Canton Network, and I do most of my DeFi activity on the Canton Network. Adele X is going to be the Canton version of Adele. So that's why I'm trying to get a hold of that, because I'm going to be, me personally, I'm going to be participating most of the DeFi on the Canton Network, not on Ethereum. Tamper-proof ICP cloud engines, ICP, caffeine AI, agentic AI agents, Pakistan, Swiss subnet adoption, cloud, blah, 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 blah. In the next 2 years. Agreed. I've said many times I need to do more research on ICP, but I want to see how it translates to token price. Again, adoption, all the things are fantastic. Is it going to translate to token price? Companies are incorporating ICP, and they just voted to reduce inflation by 70%. Yep. Add in on-chain, no bridges, AI ready. I saw that announcement that they're reducing the inflation by 70%. I did see that announcement. I talked about that. I did a slide on it in yesterday's stream. No, I'm fully aware of that. Again, is it going to attract token price? Is it going to attract token price? You want to come over here and say hi on your birthday?
Hi. Bye, Dad.
Bye.
Love you.
Have fun. So this is life of a father. We need your card. Here you go. But that was her. ICP and Canton breaks the narrative in different markets. They could. You're right. We'll see how it plays out. Again, I'm going to do more research on it, but we'll see how it plays out. BSL is Bank Social, if I remember correctly. Okay. Bank Social built on Hedera. All right. Cardano failed? I don't think so. I do. I think it's done. Not without a complete rebranding. I think it's done. Not your cup of tea because BSL is on Hedera, bro. And you stated you don't do Hedera. I got out of Hedera because of the poor tokenomics on HBAR. Yes. I don't see a way that the tokenomics return the value to the token holder. You can stake it and get like 2 or 3%, but you can get more than that in a high yield savings account. There is nothing that's telling me that HBAR is going to appreciate in price as it continues to get announcements and the network continues to blow up. Still trying to get loop code, but your DM says this person inbox is closed. Yes, a box is the same. Message me. Don't send me a DM. Just say something at Longview Crypto. Just be like, not a personal GM. Just talk to me on X and I'll DM you. Because as a premium member, if I'm not following you, you can't DM me, right? It's one of X's way to get people to get a premium membership. So if I'm not following you, you can't DM me, but I can DM you. I just need to know your X handle. So just reach out to me on X and say, hey, it's Larry Williams at Longview Crypto. I'll find it. It'll come up as a notification or a mention, and I will try to get you a loop code. Okay? Or if you go sign up at Temple, New York, they give you a loop code in 24 hours. Just letting you know that too. And that anti-bridge thing is why Canton there is no bridge from Alpin to Loop. It just connects raw. Yeah, you can go on, once you connect your Loop wallet to Alpin, you literally sign for it directly there. A little pop-up box comes up, you sign for your transaction, poof, it's staked. Like once you're set up on the Canton Network with the Loop wallet, everything is seamless. Everything runs through the Loop wallet. So like I personally, the way I like to do Canton Network, me personally, I have 3 wallets. You don't have to do 3, but I suggest 2 at least. You have Loop, which is what's going to interact with all the DeFi. If you want to participate in DeFi on the Canton Network, I suggest you have a Loop wallet. That's number 1. That's cantonloop.com. That's number 1. I suggest you have a Loop wallet. Number 2, I suggest you have some kind of long-term storage option. Braun or CypherRock fit that role for me. CypherRock's cold storage. Braun is the shard system with the built-in DEX. I like both. I have both. They're not all for everyone. And again, Braun has implemented Wallet Connect. I'm working on getting that implemented into my app right now. The Longview Crew app.longviewcompute.com. I'm working on getting that incorporated into my app so you can sign with your Braun wallet directly in the app as well. You can already sign with the Loop wallet in my app now, but I'm working on getting Braun. Let's see, Zabek to the moon. I think Zabek's going to do well, especially with this announcement with Google coming soon, I think. I'm trying to figure out if CC can already do the interconnecting job of Quant for a financial stack. No, it cannot. I actually did a little bit of research on this because I know a lot of you like Quant. The institutions have to get their Quant license, not Canton, right? So because the institutions can spin up their own private subnets and do their transacting, the institutions licenses and stuff like that are what's going to apply the transaction, not Canton Network. So the institutions have to have their Quant licensing if they're using Quant, is how I was explained to me. High energy investments. I just popped my Canton Sherry. Happy birthday, Ira. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I mean, again, it's never financial advice. Please, everyone do your own research, but I do highly, highly, highly believe in Canton, if that's not obvious. I saw a guy from Cardano having a slight breakdown online yesterday. I think we're going to see a lot of those this cycle over this next 12 months. I'm happy for the Canton investors because I believe during these pullbacks, it's holding very, very strong. And when we get some movement on the burn and some news, we're going to see an increase in price, I believe. Raul says, I need more CC. Me too. I'm working on my goal. I dollar cost average, but I do have a goal of 1 million CC. But I just dollar cost average every day. But I want to hold 1 million CC. Crypto Sensei is one. I haven't seen that yet. I should watch that. I used to like him when he was talking about XRP. When I was dealing with XRP a lot, I used to like him. I still like him as a guy. I mean, I still like the person. But I haven't watched a lot of it recently. Remember to tell us when you can buy their Dell. Remember to tell us where you can buy their Dell and where we can buy it. Thanks. Buy their Dell? Do you mean Adele, I'm guessing? I can never log in on time on Saturdays. I always start watching toward the end of the stream. Save me some goodies. Well, this Saturday, one of the other things I was thinking about doing too, here in the near future, because this community is so freaking awesome, memberships have been growing like a weed. Like literally the memberships quadrupled this month. Literally quadrupled. You guys are that awesome. So memberships, we do a members only live stream every Wednesday where I open up a Zoom meeting and anyone can join. We can talk about anything. But I've been running into the issue that not everyone can get into the stream because I do it at 7 p.m. and there's time zone differences and things like that. So I'm thinking in the near future, very, very near future, I'm going to start doing an early morning Saturday stream. Probably not this week, maybe next week. I'm going to start doing an early Saturday morning stream so I can get more of the people who can't make it on Wednesday nights. So I'm going to be opening up a second members only live stream to members. You'll get 2 a week starting probably next Saturday. I want to open it up and make sure I get everyone an opportunity because I know there's so many different countries and time zones and all that stuff. So I want to make sure everyone gets an opportunity. Not financial advice. Never financial advice. Quant is not necessary technology. Institutions are hiring their own developers and building their own blockchains. Quant is going to be a beast. Well, I mean, don't forget, you also have to deal with competition from Chainlink. I mean, all of these things are going to have competition. Again, this is all risk. No matter what blockchain you believe in, it's not financial advice. It is all risk. Okay. I personally believe in doing the research, finding the projects that I wholeheartedly believe in for the long term and dollar cost averaging at. That's me. But at the same time, in this space, new things happen every day. Okay. We get new information that changes things, right? You're awesome, Scott. Keep it real. I appreciate that, Maiko and Ramadan. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Sent 1 Longview Compute gift membership. Oh, did you? How does that work, Maiko? Did you send that to a person or do I give it? Oh, you gave it to Kelly. That's amazing. I've never seen that before. Maiko, that is awesome. There you go, Kelly. Kelly is a new member thanks to Maiko, and this community is freaking awesome. I'm speechless, Maiko. That's freaking amazing, man. You're awesome. I hold XRP, and I do feel that XRP is 1,000,000% overhyped and 1,000,000% underdelivered. I quit accumulating it when it went over 50 cents, thank God. I dollar cost averaged all the way up to 366 and all the way back down to $1.30. Right now, my average buy on my XRP stack is currently $1.42. United States of Israel. Oh my goodness. I appreciate that, Maiko. You did send a gift. You bought a membership for Kelly. You gave Kelly a membership. Solana much more much more revenue than ICP, but they have colossal expenses. In 2025, data earning, yeah, you're absolutely right. I lost 125 grand on ADA. Ouch. I'm sorry, Mitch. That's brutal, man. I'm sorry. Sorry if I'm asking you to repeat yourself, but can you drop a list of your 5 favorite cryptos? No, you're not asking me to repeat myself. I don't necessarily have a list of 5 favorite cryptos per se. I have an infrastructure list that I dollar cost average into. I dollar cost average into every single week, actually. Canton Network, Hyperliquid, Zebek, and Circle Stock right now. I still have a very large bag of XRP, a very large bag of Chainlink. I just recently got out of Ondo and HBAR. I'm waiting for Circle's new token to come out, ARC. I would like to see the ARC token. I'm probably going to get some of that. Damn, Mitch. Oh, that is a lot. Let's go get that money back, eh? I don't know how that works. You can cancel the membership. Todd Madison 5. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. I'll be sure to tell Grace you said hi. What is supposed to be wrong with ADA? I see nothing wrong with it at all. A lot of their... So Charles Hoskinson came out and did a stream yesterday talking about that a lot of the projects, a lot of the apps and projects on the Cardano network are going under. They're failing. They're done. They're closing shop. And he expects much, much more to happen this year. He expects it to get worse in 2026. And he basically came out and said that he has no control over the governance. He's trying to spin things to more institutional investors and more institutional purposes and use cases. And the governance, or the people who are staked in governing on Cardano, remember, because it's anyone can become governance on Cardano because it's open DeFi, it's public. They're voting it down. So he's like, I can't do anything. Like, you guys don't want it, and we can't get more money into the ecosystem, and these apps are starting to go under. We're going to see more go under. And unless there's a very large change in direction, it's going to continue to die. And this was Cardano. I mean, he didn't say it was going to continue to die, but he said he expects a lot more apps to go under this year. Cardano is in trouble. It is in big trouble. Look at Charles Hoskinson's stream he did on X. Hope you both enjoy the day together. I will do my best. I appreciate you all. I appreciate every single one of you. I still DCA Cardano and my other projects. Never tribal, always diverse. I never got into Cardano to begin with, from point blank. DCA Cardano, don't let institutions scare you. Wow. I will buy ADA when it goes back to 7 cents where I originally bought it. 3-hour show today. I mean, it might be. They took my card and ran off, so I'm off the hook on birthday until about 4 o'clock. Rest in peace, Cardano. I think it's going under. I mean, this news is spreading. You watch Charles Hoskinson's. Here, you know what? Here. Everyone think I'm spreading FUD. Let's put the video back up for a minute here. You guys can listen to it yourself if you came in late. This is not me speaking. This is Charles Hoskinson speaking. I'll let you guys listen. I'm going to go use the restroom real quick because you keep me talking forever.
This is where we're at as an ecosystem. You know, I said at the beginning of the year, we're going to see a lot of people collapse because the markets are really bad and we need some way to bail out our ecosystem and get them the lifeblood that they need to get to the next level. So I came up with the plan of an index. It did not get executed. So we've lost JPEG Store. We have tap tools. I would suspect others are coming very soon. There's going to be a wave of failures in the ecosystem. Now, I could buy some of them, as I did NAMI and as I did Blockfrost, and then we can try to take those and commercialize them. When we try to take them and commercialize them, you guys vote against it. Just the way it is. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of community desire to spend the treasury to take these ventures to the next level. We have Draper. You've decided to give them a large quantity of ADA, a lot of money. As I remind you, they're probably going to invest mostly in new things, not old things. And of these old things, many of them are not in an investable state at the moment. So this year's going to be very hard. The second half of the year for Cardano, we're probably going to see more dApps in DeFi die and a consolidation happen. I'm not exactly sure what my role or place is to resolve this.
That's from the man himself. You're going to see more devs die, more consolidation, and he doesn't know what he can do to resolve it. That does not sound promising for Cardano. They're talking about commercializing their apps so they actually generate revenue and can do something for the blockchain, and the blockchain governance votes it down. Does that look like someone who is excited about the future of their blockchain? I'll let you guys be. If you think I'm spreading FUD, I'll let you guys decide. Let me know in the chat. I'm not here to spread FUD, ladies and gentlemen. Charles made $1 billion from Cardano. Sorry, I didn't feel anything. Can you do a small video on lending against your crypto? Of course, not financial advice, but trying to understand how that works. Okay, I can do that again. I mean, lending against your crypto. So prime example, I can show you on Alpend real quick. Let me get an Alpend real quick. I should have it pulled up over here somewhere. This one. Yeah. Let me make sure it's updated here. I should be logged in, good to go. I have to sign back in because it's been so long here. All right, let me pull this up for you. So this is Alpend. This is where I'm doing my staking and lending. And these rates adjust. So if you hear me do a video where it says 1% one day and then it changes, that's because these rates adjust. So this is Alpend. It's currently in private beta. This is who I'm interviewing. I'm having the founder from this app on the channel tomorrow if you want to ask questions, but we'll go over it real quick. I strongly suggest if you're interested in lending, staking, borrowing, all those things, I certainly suggest either being in the stream tomorrow or watching it. So here's where we're at. So currently I have $2.2 thousand worth of CC in this lending pool. It's 14.69 thousand CC and I'm earning 8.24%. The base APY is 0.24%. I'm getting an 8% bonus because with betas comes more risk. This is how it goes. Now, that being said, I know who's involved with these projects. I feel very confident considering I also build on Canton Network and I know what it takes to get to this point. They don't just let anyone get here, okay? But that being said, you should always do your own research. All investments come with the risk of loss and DeFi is risky, especially when you get into betas. Now, that being said, right here, it says Alpend is in controlled rollout. The audit is in progress. Parameters may evolve, used with discretion. You can click here and learn more. It tells you the entire disclaimer about using their products, okay? If you have questions, I suggest you read this. I'm not going to read it to you. Now, that being said, back to understanding. So if I were to want to borrow, so I have 14.69K staked with them, I can borrow against this. So it says right here, my limit is 10.28K CC, which is 1.54K. So they're going to let me borrow up to 1.54K against this at 3.28%. So I can borrow. I'll click borrow. I can say how much I want to borrow, and it'll tell me if it's risky or not. So here's where risk comes in with borrowing against a crypto. If that crypto falls below a certain point, they're going to liquidate you so they can get their money, right? So they will automatically sell it, liquidate it, take their money because you don't have the collateral to back the loan anymore because it's lost too much value. So you see this health factor down here. If I wanted to put in 10,000 CC, 10,000 CC, this is too much risk. Health factor's red. I am above a 1.0. I am more than likely going to be liquidated. I shouldn't do that. But if I only borrow, let's say, because I can borrow up to 10.27 thousand, that's very, very risky because if price goes down at all, they're going to liquidate me. But if I only borrow, 2,000, this is relatively safe. The odds of me getting liquidated are very, very low, okay? Or if I borrow 1,000, it's even safer. So if I wanted to, I could borrow, so the health factor is at 10.28, very healthy. Odds of me getting are very safe. It's in the green. Odds of me getting liquidated are next to none. I can review this transaction and I can borrow this CC at a 3.28% interest rate that I have to pay back, okay? If I were to do that, then now I have 1,000 CC that I'm borrowing at 3.28%. I can go restake it, put it back into the liquidity pool, and earn 8.24%. I'm not doing that right now, but you could. It's an option, not something I'm doing. And granted, keep in mind, DeFi is risky. Even me trusting this, I only have about 10% of my CC involved in DeFi right now. So again, use at your own risk. These are available to you. And again, the reason I am emphasizing risk, we've heard what's happened in DeFi. I'm not going to be the reason someone loses money, okay? I'm showing you what I'm doing. It's not financial advice. You can do it if you want, but all DeFi comes with risk. I just want to be clear on that. We've seen it happen, Tron is better than ADA. Okay, I would agree. Michael, there you go, Mike. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Cardano is now old technology. Many cryptos were cut and paste of ETH with improvements and rushed into the crypto market. This is why Canton and ICP will succeed, built for many years before launch. Yes, I agree. Remember, they did start developing the Canton Network back in 2014. They didn't launch the blockchain until, I believe, 2023, and then the token released in May of 2025, and then became open to the public, in November of 2025. Coinbase lets you take a loan on your XRP, ADA, and Litecoin. Yes, it does. Absolutely, it does. That's spreading to more. I personally don't like Coinbase, won't use Coinbase, hate Brian Armstrong. If I ever saw him in public, if he didn't sue me, I'd probably punch him in the face. I just don't like the guy. I have never liked him. I never trusted him. That's just me. Call it principles. I'm sure the company is going to do very, very well. But that's why I invest in Circle and not Coinbase, because I just don't like Coinbase. Yes, happy birthday to my daughter. She's already gone, but yes, I'll make sure to let her know you guys sent her many, many, many birthday wishes. Highly blessed, Earth strong to your daughter. I got my code in a few hours. Thanks, Scott. You're very welcome. Hello, my friend. Started building my CC bag because of you. Do you also like Zebek? I do. I do stack Zebek. However, I will say it's the smallest portion that I stack because I believe it's the riskiest. It could have the most potential upside, but I believe it's the riskiest. The reason I believe it's the riskiest is because we're still waiting on clarity, and we don't know how the banks are going to be involved with retail payments, with stable coins. I think there's still a lot of unknowns on how all of that's going to shake out. But, assuming things like Zebek are legally allowed to be successful moving forward, I don't see anything else better positioned in payroll, and payroll is a very real problem in this world. And I think the most money is created by solving the biggest problems. So that's why I like Zebek. I think it solves a very real problem. However, the risk is we're still waiting on clarity. We don't know how the banks are going to be involved fully yet. So I think there's still room for that to be unsuccessful, but I am stacking it. So I do like Zebek. Please compare Ondo tokenomics to Canton and possible price appreciation. I'm going to hold off on that one because there's a video coming on that. I'm doing a video comparing Ondo to Canton because the biggest competition for Canton Network is Ondo. So I'm going to do a video here in the very near future comparing the two. So you will get that exact video here very, very soon, CC Validator. I appreciate you. Cool. X Gold in the house, and that's awesome. It's your daughter's birthday. Good stuff. Kids grow up too fast. Cherish every moment, bro. Happy for you. Also, did you sell any on Hype? I honestly think Hayes is buying it. I didn't sell. No, I'm still holding it. I'm still stacking it. If anything, if I didn't buy CC as much CC as I did last week, I'd probably be buying Hype on this dip right now. Yeah, you did. You bought a membership for Kelly. What up, Crux? Welcome back, sir. Welcome back. And it looks like our Bitcoin thoughts definitely got some serious run. That video is doing very well. I've been waiting on Alpin code for a week. Do you know how long they take to send them out? They don't send a code. They grant access. So did you talk to me on X, Senor Rojo? If you guys want access to Alpin, you need to reach out to me on X and I will email them I just need to know the email you used to sign up. They're giving my viewership access because I talk about them so much. So they're giving me access. All I have to do is email them. So if you're signed up on the wait list, reach out to me on X and I just need to know the email you used to sign up and I'll try to get you access. XRP is SBI, which is Rothschilds, which is why it's so full of shit. I mean, if you believe that, then you're not going to like Canton. SBI is heavily invested in Canton Network as well. Just throwing it out there. So if you think SBI is Rothschilds, I mean, SBI is Japan, but nonetheless, I mean, they could be heavily involved. I haven't dived down that rabbit hole, But if just remember, I mean, SBI touches everything. So if you think XRP's trash because of SBI, that means you think Canton's crashed because of SBI. Does Canton pay you? No, Canton does not pay me. I'm not employed by Canton. They don't pay me. The reason I'm so heavily involved with Canton is because no one was talking about them. I found out about them in November of last year. I started making content at the end of December, beginning of January, and I interviewed Yuval right after he appeared on Paul Barron. So it kind of cemented me in a spot of trust with both the viewers and the Canton Network developers. I also develop an app on the Canton Network. I have an app right now, a community app in live beta on the DevNet on the Canton Network for you guys, the users. Links in the description. Beta code's available upon request. But so I work with a lot of these people. They're not paying me, but I talk to Lewis from Minted. I talk to Yuval occasionally. I talk to Heslin Kim from Zenith. I talk to Stan from Temple, Stan from OneSwap. I'm talking to Akash tomorrow, Akash. I'm talking to Akash tomorrow from Alpin. So no, they don't pay me, but because I am a fan of the blockchain, they're willing to talk to me. So they're coming on here and I get access to a lot of things because I'm promoting the blockchain naturally and organically because I just like the blockchain and I'm talking about the blockchain and I'm building on the blockchain. Everything's been organic growth. No, they don't pay me. No, Mitch lost 150K, he said, not the membership. Oh, I got you. Yeah, it was a lot of money to lose. I got you. I was confused there for a second, Michael. Do they pay me in any way? No. I have not been paid by the Canton Network in any way, shape, or form. I will say my discount code for CypherRock does give me a kickback. But no, I have not received any form of payment from the Canton Network. And full disclosure, I did receive 500cc from an app thanking me for talking about them. And guess what I did with that 500cc, guys? Does anyone remember what I did with that 500cc? I gave it to you. Yes, I did a giveaway and gave it back to the community. And you know what? CypherRock sent me a free hardware wallet. Guess what I'm doing with that hardware wallet? I'm giving it to you, the community. So no, I'm not paid by the Canton Network to shill Canton, and everything I'm getting from this channel goes back to building the community. I cannot be more clear about that. That's all there is to it. Happy birthday to Gracie. Yes. Judah, I mean, look at poor Charles' face, man. He's losing sleep and looks at his hair. Hasn't rested a week. I mean, he does look rattled by far. Thank you, Michael Raman. Unintended gift. I really appreciate it because every penny I have is to invest in the market. Crypto Hulk say move your coins out of Cardano. I mean, I never held Cardano, but hey, that's just me. You moved them. He said this last week. Okay. I don't hold Cardano, so I didn't have to worry about it, but I mean, he was talking about it. Pink Panther 100X, Canton does not pay crypto YouTubers. That is why Paul Barron came out here swinging. He was upset. No brown envelope. I mean, there you go. Cardano's sleeping giant. I mean, it has the potential to rebound if it gets reworked, but it has to be reworked. It's not going to be successful the way it is right now. Pink Panthers, that's where Zabek comes in. Okay. DCA Cardano, I disagree. DCA Tron. I mean, some people like Tron. Ton's been doing well too. I always talk about my cryptos. That's just me. Yeah, I'm sus on lending platforms. Cryptonomy, who have changed their name to Nomi, robbed me and others. Read up, folks. Always do your own research. Know what you're getting involved in. But again, I feel safe and sound on Canton Network because I talk to these people, but even still, I'm only putting 10% of it to work. Just keep that in mind. I'm just telling you what I do. It's not financial advice. What price do you think Zabek will get to after? I have no clue. I have no, I stay away from price predictions as much as I can. Nothing good comes from price predictions. But assuming, I'll say this, assuming clarity goes through and it's favorable for Zebek, I mean, it's going up and to the right. If the Clarity Act rules are favorable for your crypto, I think it's going up and to the right. I mean, as you zoom out and you look at what's happening with tokenization and what's happening with the rails, we cannot deny tokenization's going forward. We cannot deny all these people are working together. So if the tokenomics provide a reason for the token to appreciate, that's what I'm focusing on. It's time for Whataburger. You know, we have Whataburger in Kansas City now, thanks to my wonderful, wonderful friend, Patrick Mahomes. I wish he was actually a real friend one day, maybe. But thanks to Patrick Mahomes, we actually have Whataburger in Kansas City now. Thank you, White House, Texas. Institutions want to keep secrets. Their money laundering and still needs to happen. They will keep their secrets. That's why they want a private network. Here's the thing. I never thought private networks were right. I never thought it was what was best for you and me. I never thought it was best for what the retail holder and the average person. But I didn't think it was going to go any other way. Institutions were never going to give up control. Governments were never going to give up control. I mean, economic power is just too much power. I suggest everyone, I say it all the time, if you haven't, or you're kind of unfamiliar with Wall Street, I really suggest everyone watch Titans of Wall Street. And you can see how ruthless these people are and how little they care about you and how entitled they are. To them, they think you should take your scraps and be freaking grateful for the fact they're doing such a good job for you. Just hodl, put your assets in cold storage. I've learned my lesson. There you go. So what you're saying is there is risk. All good. Thanks. I just wanted to understand how that works because you don't get capital gains like that. I will be sure to look into it deeper. There you go. Next week, Zebek will launch their corporate black card and their Euro bank announcement coming next week. I think it's going to be massive. Isn't this the second time they've tried to launch the black card and they took it back? So, I mean, we'll see. The Euro bank announcement will be big. I don't think the black card's as big as people are making it out to be, just my personal opinion. I do not understand it because he's a billionaire. He can do some changes in ADA if he wants to spend all of his money. That's what he's saying he can't. He tried, and the governance model voted him down. He can't do it because the governance model for Cardano told him no. He wanted to commercialize it so it can make money and be profitable and grow. The governance, the people who are doing the staking in the governance model or whatever I'm sure I haven't studied Cardano, I don't invest in it. But however, the exact governance model is broken down, the people who are involved in that governance model are not allowing him to do so. That's why I think it's going to die. Thank you again, Maiko and Raman. I appreciate it. Scott, I talked to Yessa last week about Alpend. Message me on, send me some kind of message on X. Just reach out to me on X so I know it's you. I'll send you a DM. Mr. Rojo, aka Mr. Red. Larry Holmes, I can't sign up with you. You won't be able to send me a message. Just do this. Just do a post on X if you need help with Alpend, with Loop, whatever. Do a post on X at Longview Crypto. Need help with this, please. I will see it. I will find you. You're not going to be able to DM me. You're not going to be able to do a chat bubble and send me you have to do a post and just do at Longview Crypto. Can you help me with this? I will DM you. Okay? We'll get it straightened away. So just go, again, at Longview Crypto. It's right there at the bottom right there next to the X thing. At Longview Crypto, do a post with that in it. I need your help with this, please. I'll message you when I get an opportunity. Amber, I don't have X, but I'm interested in Alpend. Okay, well, see, here's the thing. If you're signed up for Alpend, I need to know if you're signed up for the waitlist for Alpend and you have your Loop wallet, I need to know the email you use to sign up. I tell people to reach out on X because I can DM them and keep it private. I am not able to do that on YouTube. That's why X works so good. That way people don't have to put their personal information, and I don't have to spread all across the world that I'm giving things away to people. Because then I get people making accounts and reaching out to me, hey, can you get me on Alpend? And they're not even a subscriber. I've never talked to them before, like all kinds of stuff. This is about building the community, not about giving freebies to every freeloader who comes into the community. Big up, Scott, says Michael Watson. I sent my email as a comment on one of your posts on X. Okay, I should be able to find it that way. Sometimes they block out the email and comments, but I'll look for you and try to get it taken care of for you. I took your code, Rojo. Damn, Raul thought we were cool like that. Yeah, I got Raul set up last week. SCJ, I'm going to take a nap. Have a good day. LVC, happy birthday to your daughter. I appreciate it. ADA will survive. They need a new talk. They need new governance. They need new governance rules. They're not going to be able to survive if they don't change what they're doing. Okay, nice. The ADA governing board must be in bed with Elizabeth Warren and Maxine Waters. Very possibly. You know what, guys? 2-hour stream. We are just now through the chat. This was a good one. The community is amazing. I appreciate all the birthday wishes from my daughter. I'll be sure to let her know. I'm going to make her go through and read it and reply. I mean, she won't be able to reply to the chats, but she loves reading the comments. Sometimes she likes to try to go through and read the comments and reply. She loves being involved. So this is going to be really special to her. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate it. She's really going to love it. And I will be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. with Akash from Alpend. So if you got questions for Alpend, you got questions about lending, questions about staking, borrowing, all of those things, tomorrow is going to be a great day for it. Questions about the risk, and who knows, maybe new announcements on things coming to the platform. And then tonight at 8 p.m. Central, I'm going on CoinVault with Maximus. I think it's Maximus Crypto. I call him Max, but they're running they created a new channel. Him, Rule Black, and a couple others created a new channel that they're building up that's about different cryptos from different communities, and they're coming on there and discussing ideas, getting different viewpoints. And I'm going to be the Canton guy, it seems like. So I am the Canton man. The Canton man can, as a long-term investor would like to say. So I'm going to be on that channel tonight. If you guys want to come check it out, CoinVault, I'll be there at 8 p.m. Central live, or you can catch the replay. And there again, that's going to be with Maximus Crypto, Rule Black, and a couple others. Really, really educated people do a lot of deep dives on maybe more of the speculative stuff than I do. 2 hours so far, yeah. Agreed on ADA, however, the nutty talk is not attractive. No, it's not. And that does nothing good for their blockchain. That's why I said when he came out and started getting angry and yelling at everyone, I'm like, it's done. I'm like, I think Cardano's cooked. I said that months ago. I again never was a huge fan of the blockchain to begin with, but I don't want to see this happen to anyone in crypto ever. I want the entire crypto space to be happy. I want the entire crypto space to make money. I want you all to make money. So, I mean, I want every single one of your projects that you're invested in to go up. Really, especially if I have no skin in that game. I also want my projects to go up, but all I do is come in here and give you guys my opinions and tell you what I think. Maybe I'm old, but I'm not feeling Zebek vibe. What's the attraction? To me, the attraction is the problem it solves. Right now, when we talk, a lot of people understand, because you've heard so much about XRP, the problem of cross-border payments and the Nostro Vostro accounts, right? In order to send a cross-border payment as it stands now, if you send $11 trillion of yen, you need to have so much money locked up over here in order to do that transaction. It takes days to settle and multiple counterparties and all these things, right? Think about payroll. On that same vein, just shrink it, okay? How many people get paid once a month or every 2 weeks? Or actually, here's a use case that I know they're working on. Oh, I'm highly confident they're working on. I don't know, no one's confirmed it to me, but I'm highly confident. To give you an example of what Zebek can do. For instance, me, on YouTube. Again, all the money I make goes into growing the channel. But that being said, YouTube pays out once a month. It's the 20th to the 20th of every month. That's how they work. Imagine a world where I'm streaming right now and every single chat you guys just sent me, super chat, is automatically deposited into my bank account. At the end of every single video or every ad that comes up, that money is streamed automatically into my bank account. I don't have to wait 20 days for people to do all this paperwork back and forth. It's all automated, and they are streaming payroll just like I'm streaming this to you, right? That is what Xebec has the power to do. And when you look at that at scale, not just on this YouTube example, but think about Amazon deliveries, Ubers, or people who do deliveries and payments, DoorDash, whatever, being able to stream that pay to people. Imagine working in a sales job and every single time you closed a sale, you were just seeing money flow into your bank account. How motivating would that be as a sales employee, as a sales job? Like, I think that's I don't think, that is the problem that Xebec is trying to solve. And I think they are the best position to do it. And I think it has a very, very, very real world use case. However, there's risk because we still don't have clarity and it can mix things up, right? That's the risk that comes with Xebec. But that's why I also believe in it and stacking it, because I believe in the problem it's trying to solve. And I see that. Like, I have the vision of that, I guess. I believe in that vision. In a way, I feel bad for him trying to make things better for everyone else isn't. Right. I mean, that's the thing is, ultimately, I agree with Charles Hoskinson and what he wants the space to be. I do. It is a noble idea. Okay, it's a very noble idea. The ideology behind it is fantastic. But I just never thought that ideology was going to win, and I wasn't going to invest based on ideology. I was investing on what I thought was going to make money. That's just my personal opinion. And I didn't think the banks were going to play that way. That's why I've looked for institutional tokens. That's how I first found XRP, right? And then we started learning about tokenomics, and we evolved as we went along this ride together. So, oh, man, what a long one. I appreciate everyone taking the time to be here. I'm going to get off here. I need to get a drink. I need to do something. But it's been a great stream. I appreciate all the birthday wishes. My daughter's going to be really, really excited about it. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. for Alpend. If I don't see you on Coin Vault